Maura Adson. I work with You'll Engage and I'm from the Department of Politics. And I'm just the warm-up act. I'm here to give you a very, very warm Limerick welcome. When we come out of here, you'll see that the tea and scones are already prepared. And I would like to welcome our friends, our colleagues and our collaborators and our community partners most of all, because at this stage you are all of those things together. Without you, we wouldn't have a story to tell at all. I'd also like very much to welcome our students, some of whom are slightly paranoidly outside getting their final assessments for their final project. But today is a day we really are very, very proud of our students. Taking a UL practicum is a challenge. It can be a bit scary, a little bit hectic, sometimes chaotic, and not always immediately clear, which is in many ways like life is. There is a little bit of making it up as you go along, or if you look at it in another language, the language of pedagogy, there are challenges to meet, there are teams to be built, and there are puzzles to be solved. All of those and promises to keep. And I think what you see outside today is the result of those promises of what we have delivered and what our students and communities have done together, which is such a joy to see when you get over the scary bit. Many of you here are from other universities. Our students have risen to the challenge, but we're aware that proud as we are of our students, they're not entirely all of ours. Some of them are lent to us. We have students here from the Erasmus scheme, from the Junior Year Abroad, from North America, from Ireland, from Europe, and also some Brazilians. We have almost all the continents covered with our students. And so on behalf of our students and also of our communities, I would like to extend our thanks to those of you who, if you like, are the backroom staff, the unsung heroes of all of our international offices who make this kind of thing possible, who make these exchanges possible and who spend their precious time scouring the world for new exchange experiences, we know what you're up to, for their precious students. It's you who take the time to make all of this possible behind the scenes, and I often think of you as the guardian angels. Our students are often quite unaware of what's going on behind our offices, with your offices, making sure that everything is going well from them, checking if they're all okay. And what you begin to see here, if you look at our reach into our communities with our students from all over the world and your reach into your networks, that what we have here is a really, really large project team, which may be in the Limerick projects that you visit tomorrow, but which extends sometimes that team, including the back office and the university, is going all the way back to the Atlantic and across the continent. And it's for that reason that I'm really, really pleased to have the head of our team, Dr. Des Fitzgerald, our new president, because good things like this don't just happen. They only happen when a complex organisation is working together and when you have that synergy of all of those different parts working in that team. And in that team, our network extends, if you like, not only across and around, but also across all of Ireland. So there's another member of the team that I'm happy to introduce, and that's Kate Morris from Campus Engage, because the University of Limerick, through the Irish Universities Association and through its organisation Campus Engage, works with all of the other universities and also the Institutes of Technology and Higher Education to develop what we hope is a consensus on the best practice for good engagement. And many of our colleagues from Ireland are here today. And we know that none of us can do this alone. Engagement is a team activity, and so we're really, really looking forward to spending the day with you, the next couple of days, and sharing and learning and collaborating. So that's the warm-up over. I'd like to introduce Kate Morris before the President opens the proceedings.
So again, my name is Kate Morris, and I'm based in the Irish Universities Association in Dublin, in the Big Smoke. So I'd like also just to open up and say a very big thank you to UL for the invitation to be here. And I'm always blown away by the warm Limerick welcome and the care and attention that is given to all associates coming onto campus in Limerick. So there's a truly international audience today with 17 countries represented, and lots of our own Irish universities. UCD is here with Rhonda and Holly on set. So why have I been invited to this party? So it's my job really to set the scene for what's happening in Ireland, and maybe and hopefully to inspire a global appetite for cooperation and to scale up represented innovative practice and engaged teaching and learning on show here over the next couple of days. So just to give you some information, in Ireland we have a rather exciting political positioning of the role and responsibility of higher education in national policy and local strategy plans. We're lucky in that way. In fact, the presidents of all of the Irish universities and the institutions of technology, so that's all higher education institutions, have signed up to a 10-point charter on civic and community engagement, and that lists 10 points of how institutions should and can be engaging with their surrounding hinterlands across teaching, learning, green campuses, volunteering, research, etc. So also UL, so just our leaders have also put in place an infrastructure. So that's our presidential leaders have accepted an infrastructure to enable national and civic and community engagement, capacity building initiatives and effective effective practice. And this is Campus Engage as a national initiative to support institutions. It's very important that we mention that how our UL colleagues, so led by Bernie and Maura with Tracy and Gabrielle Hanrahan, have been at the forefront of establishing this national infrastructure. They have been sharing information on what works and, most importantly, and specifically for me, what does not work in the university engagement with colleagues at home and abroad. So this UL team has co-created national initiatives to build expertise in engaged research practice for societal impact. They've been working with the EU Horizon 2020 Commission, the National Contact Points Academy. They've been working with Science Foundation Ireland, the Irish Research Council to establish national community-based learning educational and have been establishing national community-based learning educational programmes that have been delivered to over 500 higher education teaching and learning staff and civil society organisation staff. This work has also now been replicated, and they've demands on them from Canada, the US, Scotland, Croatia, Netherlands, and Vietnam and beyond to use and to inform practice globally. ULS has also informed an online matchmaking system, or a match.com, for students to work as volunteers with community organisations and associated. And there is an associated President Fitzgerald's volunteering award that is held annually on campus. And this online system is now used in absolutely every university in Ireland. And on a quarterly basis, we have new institutions buying into the system and interest from abroad. So these initiatives are driven by an understanding that to operate as a globally competitive and in a globally competitive and rapidly changing ecosystem, the institutional effort needs to be agile, responsive to market demand. And although our print and social media feeds information about snowflake generations, truly, I see that this generation are educated, informed, and realise that the effect of previous generations. They want alternatives, no matter what side of the political spectrum. And this is impacting educational provision. And it's not enough to sit and listen to didactic lectures. They are confident enough to put into practice skills that have been learnt in a classroom environment into community settings. And most importantly, they want to be part of the solution. In a personal capacity, we see students are seeking out opportunities to proactively work with society to address local, national, international societal challenges, ranging locally from homelessness, public health service, social service, judicial reform, environmental issues. In Ireland, we see increasingly new innovative educational initiatives turn into social enterprises, including food clouds, space engagers, My Wardrobe, Generation Accommodation, Head Starts, just to name a few. So, to close off this, I just want to inform people that in the next few weeks, Irish universities have been represented with a unique opportunity to set targets and to frame their strengths and their ambitions in the field of civic and community engagement through a government-initiated higher education systems performance framework and associated compact agreements between universities and the government. And these are an absolute hindrance for higher education institutions to fill out. I would argue, and Campus Engage trust, that setting aside time to communicate and demonstrate staff, student and institutions' commitment to engagement leads to the production of persuasive evidence of university social impact to underpin funding applications, quality assurance, ranking, and fundamentally to position Irish universities as international leaders in higher education engagement. And this can be a great return on institutional infrastructure. Finally, as an objective observer, I have an insight into what makes university engagement happen. And you can see it exceptionally here in the university in Limerick, which is leading the game. So my conclusion, with, of course, UCD. Have to mention our UCD colleagues. So finally, as an objective observer, this insight boils down to 2 or 3 vital ingredients, and that is strong leadership within the institution and with outside the institution. Relationships are fundamental to civics community engagement. Diplomatic skills and empathy. I congratulate UL once again for putting students first and pioneering new ways of servicing this growing demand for experiential learning for students at home and abroad. So very much looking forward to the next couple of days and to building internally here a kind of an army or a community of global practice for engaged teaching and learning. And hopefully this will be the start of something special. So thanks for your time.
So, good morning, everybody. I should introduce myself. Maura said I'm the new president, not so new anymore. I've been here for a year. The importance of that is after a while, you lose deniability and everything becomes your responsibility, including the good things that we're hearing about today. You're very welcome also to some of our overseas and people from outside of Limerick. Eric Lyman from the University of Minnesota, and special welcome to Marion Hurley, Magella Cosgrove, and Mark Nagel. It says in my notes here, welcome to Limerick. Actually, just hate to burst your bubble, but you're not in Limerick at the moment. You're in Clare, County Clare, and that bridge over there, that river is the Shannon, and that bridge, if you really want to get to Limerick, we'll take you there later today if you want to saunter across it. Hopefully the weather will hold. It's a beautiful campus. I've learned down in Limerick, it's a bit like what Mark Twain said about Boston. If you don't like the weather, wait a few minutes. So the picture here is gives you an idea of the sort of engagement that we have in the University of Limerick with our community. This was our Christmas celebration. We asked the staff to nominate their favourite charities in Limerick, and we had a large number of submissions. These charities work very closely with us, with our students, with our staff. In fact, in many cases, our students will spend part of their cooperative programme with the charities. So they get a great experience and knowledge of the community. The idea was to award each of these €1,000, and the university was able to get funding for 20, and at Christmas it was hugely valuable because these are the real community heroes at Christmas, looking after people who are homeless, and it puts a big strain on their resources. It wasn't a lot of money, but actually the really important thing was to recognise the charities, and they really appreciated the fact that the university, rather than what we normally did, which is light up a Christmas tree, which turned out to be very expensive, to do something for the community outside the university rather than do that. So these are the selfless heroes. We just work with them, and that's a big part of what we're talking about today, because we engage with a whole range of people who are doing wonderful things in our community. I've been given a script here, so excuse me if I read it, and I might go off script now and again. I'm sure Maura will drag me back onto the script if I do. So UL has been a lead participant and contributor to the national training programs on Engaged Scholarship with Science Foundation Ireland's Campus Engage initiatives in 2016. 2017 2018, Enterprise Ireland's NCP Training Academy in 2017, and the Irish Research Council's dissemination activities around the Engage Research Report, Principles and Practice in 2017 and 2018. And you can see some of the programme people that we're collaborating with there, of course, Science Foundation Ireland, the IUA and its partners, including DCU, DIT, National University of Ireland Galway, University College Cork, and so on. The National, UL is accredited as a driving force behind the national initiatives to develop an All-Ireland transdisciplinary consensus on what engaged research is and how best to carry it out. And you can see the principal people involved here in this photograph, including our own Maura Adshead and Sarah Bowman, and of course Kate Morris from Campus Engage. We're now responsible for pushing out the policy recommendations nationally in an initiative sponsored by the Irish Research Council and supported by, amongst others, the Higher Education Authority, the Health Research Board, the Irish Humanities Alliance, Knowledge Transfer Ireland, Science Foundation Ireland, The Wheel, plus internationally the EU Living Knowledge International Science Shop Network and UK's National Coordination Centre for Public Engagement. Now, importantly, working with the National Working Group on Metrics and Evaluation for Higher Education Engagement, which is the current higher education system performance framework, which has just been published and which all of the institutions have to sign up to. This is the government compact with all of the Irish universities, and this now includes community engaged teaching and engaged research in its 6 key performance criteria for higher education. Now, all the institutions are currently setting out their strategic initiatives under this performance framework, and it will include community engagement. UL is proud to claim its influence on these deliberations, supporting the addition of engaged research as a key area of university engaged activities, in addition to developing increased opportunities for engaged teaching and research. So, when you include our Access Office activities with primary and secondary schools, you can see UL's commitment to a virtuous circle of community engagement at all points along the educational path, from primary and secondary schools initiatives, after schools clubs, community diploma, link to learn access initiatives, undergraduate modules, postgraduate training, up to CPD and PhDs. I should add that we have a consortium of institutions here in Limerick, the Shannon Consortium, Limerick Institute of Technology, and Mary Immaculate College, and we're working closely together on a number of programs, but in particular the issue of access, progression, stopping people from dropping out of college, and making sure that once they leave college that they get employment. And in addition, working with mature students in the community to ensure that they have the opportunities to continue to receive education and training. And recently, importantly, just last week, we had a meeting between the 3 institutions and the 3 counties, Limerick, Clare, and Tipperary, to develop an end-to-end approach, what you call a virtuous circle here, but the idea being that we work right through the whole educational spectrum to make sure that everybody who lives in the region has the opportunity, gains the opportunities from education. And just highlight the fact that Limerick City has one of the lowest entry rates into university in the country, and we're working to try and to deal with that issue. It's a massive problem, since we now believe that 20,000 people in the city of Limerick have very low educational attainment, and that limits their opportunities for further education. So in the last 12 months alone, UL Engage has been awarded a series of awards: the EU DG Justice, Rights and Equality Programme, to the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences Hate and Hostility Research Group, the Health Research Board Public Patient Involvement Fund, awarded to a multidisciplinary team here in the medical school, the Irish Research Council New Foundation Civic Engagement Funding Awards in Psychology, Politics and Business, the Irish Research Council's Marie Curie Fund, Caroline Postdoctoral Fellowships in Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, the Chemie Business School and Education and Health Sciences. So the quality of our engagement must be judged by our reputation with our partners, many of whom are here today, with our collaborations in public and private sectors, CSOs, NGOs, and with our local residents and neighbours who are critically important to us as a university. We know that this university is here because of the work that was done by the people in the community, and we greatly appreciate their support. You know, at the end of the day, the real measure of what we do, the impact that we have, is through our students, in their understanding and in their engagement with society, in their role as citizens, what Barack Obama calls the unit of democracy. We want our students to leave this institution with a sense of responsibility and a strong sense of citizenship and community. I want to commend all of you for all the work that you've been doing here in the University of Limerick and beyond. Particular thanks to Maura and Josephine, who's here today as well, who's been involved in this. Bernie Quillinan, who I don't know if she's here today, who in UL Engage in the foyer, doing all the hard work out there. And to all of you for the work that you do. I am passionate about the engagement with the community. I am highly concerned about the ability of people to go to university or any third level education. I often say to our partners, I'm not here to sell you the university, I'm here to tell you that we want students to be able to participate in any way they can. Yesterday I was at Ardreach School and it really took me by surprise in fifth year class to realise that many of the students in the class had no real idea of what they were going to do. This is in fifth year, the end of their fifth year. Pretty soon they're going to be in the final stretch and they will be making their choices. And many of them had not decided to go to university, and those who had decided to go to university didn't know why they were going. But at least about 2/3 of them were going to go to university. Down the road in CSB, CBS Sexton, when I was there and asked the same question, virtually nobody put their hand up. They just didn't know anything about it at all. So we have a lot of work to do around access. It's just one aspect of the engagement with the community, but it's what we do as a university. We educate, and we need to be able to give people the opportunities that all of us have enjoyed in life by engaging in the community in the way that UL Engage has been doing. So thank you very much. I hope you have a great conference. And as I say, if you really want to visit Limerick, when you come down to this place, you get 2 counties for one. So wander across the bridge and enjoy the campus and the day. Thank you very much.